Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing the Void Traveler origin made by Exotic from Planet Minecraft. I'll leave a link to the original download page in the description. And before we get into this video, I just want to mention that according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps out a ton. So moving on to your first ability, you have dimensional travel. So basically, when you press your primary key, you can warp into your own dimension where you can build stuff and store stuff, and only you have access to it. So it's a bit overpowered, but you can bring other entities to your dimension, and you can also bring other players to your dimension. I don't exactly know how the bringing other players to your dimension thing works because I haven't tried this origin out in multiplayer, but other than that, basically when you press your secondary key, all mobs around you will go into your dimension, and when you press your primary key, you will teleport into that dimension. So so if I press my secondary key, let me just summon a bunch of Tusk around me as well. So if I press my secondary key, all of them are gone. Now, if I press my primary key, you'll see that I'm in my own dimension. Sorry for it all being purple, I'll just turn off shaders. And basically you have your own dimension. You can also build stuff in it and all that. Most of it is made out of stone, and there are some patches of water in it. In this dimension you also gain haste and slow falling for a small amount of time. I don't exactly know where the zombies went, but basically you get the idea. You can teleport into your own dimension which no one else can access. And this is the only actual pro of this origin, because like all the other abilities are downsides that mostly activate in the overworld. And I feel like that's a fair trade-off because you have your own dimension. It's basically like having infinite shulker boxes. I mean, you can bring them anywhere you need to, but basically if you travel in this dimension, I think 8 blocks in this dimension equals 1 block in the overworld. Actually it's the other way around. 8 blocks in the overworld include 1 block in this dimension. So it's kind of like the nether. I think that's only out of pure guessing, because actually that's how it happened. And that's your only actual positive ability. And as you can see, I only walked a small distance and I seem to be a bit further away from my actual spot. I can't find out where it is. So we're just going to stick with this, and basically all the other abilities are downside. So in that dimension you can build stuff and it will still be there. It's also infinite, I think. A lot of this is suggestions because I haven't tested this origin out a lot. And let's move on to the next ability. Moving on to the next ability, you have exhaustion and weak. So basically you burn hunger faster and you have a few less hearts. So that's about it. This only happens in the overworld. When you go back into your own pocket dimension, this will be reset. Other than the hearts, you're naturally weak, but you don't burn hunger faster in your own dimension. It's only in the overworld, so that's kind of a good thing, I guess, because you're mostly gonna spend your time in this dimension anyway, because it's your own dimension. And let's move on to the next ability. Moving on to your next ability, you have weak. Basically the same name, but it's a different ability. So basically you take 1.5 times as much damage in the overworld from mobs. And this is because you're not used to mobs in the overworld, which I think makes sense because no mobs spawn in your own dimension. And you also have an ability called fatigue. Basically when you spend too much time in the overworld, you're gonna start basically getting random effects. So They're random and they're not always guaranteed to be negative. Or I think it is actually. But yeah, it's going to be a negative random effect. So it can be slowness or it can be just blindness. So yeah, you have to look out for that. You can reset this by going back into your own dimension. A bar will show up after like 10 minutes of being in the overworld, and basically it'll go even higher when you're in the overworld even more. So the more you are in the overworld, you basically get more and more effects. And yeah, that's it for this origin, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a bit of a short origin and only had one good side, being that you have your own dimension. But other than that, it didn't have a lot of weaknesses outside of your dimension. Like, if you're outside of your dimension, you have weaknesses, but when you're in it, you mostly don't. And yeah, I really like this origin. Like, it only has one a pro and a lot of cons, which I think makes sense because you have your own dimension. Like I said, I don't know how the void shards are meant to work, but I guess it's somehow meant to work. You will have to contact the creator for that, but for now, big shout out to Exotic from Planet Minecraft. You should go subscribe to his Planet Minecraft page, definitely. And yeah, this is a very nice origin. This origin was mainly made for 1.16.5, but I played it in 1.17 and found no issues. So you can play this in either 1.17 and 1.16. And yeah, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's free and you have basically nothing to lose. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.